So hello and welcome to Lug, the channel where two mates talk about watches. And this week we actually have our first guest watch on the channel, which isn't owned by either of us. And I'll let Ben tell you a bit more about what this watch is.
So we are going to be talking about the Tudor Black Bay 58, the blue variation. Now this watch belongs to my sister's boyfriend. He recently purchased it and actually was kind enough to lend it to me for the purpose of this review. So over the last few weeks I've been wearing it and just going over the pros and cons.
Cool.
Let's get into it.
Here we go.
So before we jump into talking about the Tudor Black Bay, let's just do a very quick wrist check, as is customary. So I'm wearing my Tudor, it's the GMT, so we can do a bit of a compare and contrast with this one and the smaller Black Bay 58.
The Formex Essence 39,
Very
as
nice.
previously reviewed.
Very nice watch. So I think it would be interesting for the viewers to know a bit more about like why your sister's boyfriend went for this watch. Like, is he a big watch guy? What led him to choose the Tudor?
Yeah, so I think he's always been into watches, but he's never had a luxury watch. So particularly since we've started this YouTube channel, he's obviously been watching our reviews and kind of getting a taste for the Tudors, the Oruses, the Seikos. So yeah, I've basically been talking to him for a few weeks about watches, and he's kind of hooked, I think.
Yeah.
I did mention obviously the sort of introductory Swiss brands,
Yeah.
Oris, Tudor, Tag, and he's gone for the Tudor Black Bay 58, which I think is a very sort of bullish first watch, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting
quite
it.
ballsy.
Yeah. He's jumped straight into the deep end, I think, there with that one.
Yeah.
In a few years, he'll be like Richard Mille,
On a yacht somewhere.
or maybe more like Patek. Actually, I don't know if we want to encourage Richard Mille
Yeah,
consumption
no,
on
definitely
the channel, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like a great first watch, and we had a quick look as well at like for the price point, which I think is around £2,700 now.
Yeah.
What else you could get for that? And there's not a lot really that's comparable. Like, I think the closest thing is probably the new Oris Aquis,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
with the in-house movements.
Yeah.
And personally for me, I don't quite feel that Oris as a brand is quite at the same place as Tudor yet. So yeah, I think for a lot of people this will be the watch of choice.
Absolutely,
in that price point.
Yeah.
And as we spent time with it, I mean, there's a lot of things to like here. Like the finishing, as you'd expect on a Tudor, is great. Like, it feels so robust. Has a nice like contrast of a few different finishes. There's quite a lot. Most of it's brushed, but then it does have nice bits of kind of beveling and a few nice details on there as well.
Yeah.
To kind of elevate the watch a little bit.
Yes.
And then, of course, it's got like the in-house movement, which is really, really great. Especially for me, owning the Black Bay GMT, like one of the main things that stood out and that I really liked about this one is the dimensions, because it's quite a lot smaller. So I think it's like a 39mm case.
39mm case size, which compared to GMT at 42, I think that's a noticeable difference.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Particularly when you talk about the thickness. So your GMT is, I don't know how thick it is, but it's...
I think it's almost 15mm, something around there. So it's
So
quite chunky
she's a
on
big
the
girl.
wrist.
She's a big girl.
It's noticeable on the wrist.
Yeah, and the Black Bay 58 certainly isn't that thick, and does wear entirely differently as a result.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's got a very nice lug width of 20mm, which then tapers down to about 16mm. I think it's quite a kind of aggressive taper.
Yeah.
And then you've got lug to lug about 47mm, which makes it a very compact watch.
Yeah, I think it's like perfect for almost any wrist size, really. Like, most people can pull this off.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's also one where, again, in comparison to the 41mm GMT, where when you're wearing it, you don't notice it as much. Like this one, I do kind of. It's got presence on the wrist, like it's weighty. It kind of you feel bit
of a statement piece.
You don't forget you don't forget that it's there. Whereas with
no.
the Black Bay 58, I think it's a bit more comfortable as a daily wear.
Yeah, no.
Like, I don't think there's a single thing that is a big complaint. I mean, maybe you could say at this price point you would want some kind of micro adjust on the fly.
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be a feature that perhaps you'd expect to have on a watch at this price.
Yeah, and it is annoying that they you can now buy Tudors that have this feature, but just not in the kind of core range. You have to buy something a bit niche to get that now. Like the bronze one has it, but the core range still doesn't. But yeah,
I think one thing that perhaps both me and Ollie felt, we weren't overly keen on was the actual shade of blue on the dial.
Yeah.
I think you sort of described it as being sort of a washed out blue, which I have to say is sort of quite an accurate description of how it looks.
Yeah.
It doesn't really pop compared to the Pelagos, which is probably on the other extreme. It's a very rich, very kind of sickly blue.
Yeah, it's really saturated, isn't it, on that one?
Yeah, like a Crayola blue. But yeah, on the flip side, this Black Bay 58, the blue, it's just it's quite kind of stale, washed out, and I wasn't particularly keen on it.
No, and I think I agree. Like, even though we both appreciate that this is a great watch, I think neither of us would buy it.
No,
which is quite controversial, maybe.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing wrong with it, but neither of us would purchase this. And I think it does really come down to that shade of blue. And I think both of us, when we I remember when it came out actually, and it was impossible, like really hard to find. We managed to find one in, I think it was Selfridges or something. And we were both like kind of hyped up going in there, like excited to try it on. We both put it on and we're just like, nothing, like okay, that's it. Like I think the hype was bigger than the actual like experience when we put it on the wrist.
Yeah, and I think the issue actually is, I mean, on Instagram there are so many Instagrammers using like filters to like bring out the blue.
Yeah, that's true.
That's something I have seen, and actually it kind of falsely advertises the watch. Like you go into a shop thinking that's what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
When in actual fact it looks anything but like.
Yeah.
I think that's an important sort of consideration to take on board, really.
Yeah.
The fact that these filters on Instagram really do kind of change the look of a watch quite significantly sometimes.
Yeah, it's a very good point. So try watches on in person before you buy.
Yeah, definitely.
If that's one takeaway from this video, that should be it.
So you get a nice lume on this watch as well.
Yeah, and the bezel's also really nice. That's the other thing that we compared a bit between the GMT and this one. This one is just super smooth.
Super smooth, no backplay at all.
The sound is really nice as well.
It's probably the best bezel that I've got, managed to get my hands on.
For all of those bezel ASMR fans.
The finishing, the shade of blue on the bezel is really nice as well. I think had they matched the bezel blue to the dial blue, that would have made for a really kind of complete package, I think.
Yeah, and I'm quite interested to see the new Pelagos, the Marine National one, to see how that blue compares to this blue and compares to the other.
Because that almost looks slightly different to the Pelagos, doesn't it?
It does.
So I think Tudor, they've rolled out almost like a third shade of blue.
That could be the perfect blue.
It could be,
but we'll have to see. But I think that the other thing that I didn't love about this watch, and we keep on banging on about the blue, but the fact that it is quite matte means that it doesn't change much in the light.
Yeah.
And in certain lights, just looks quite kind of dull and it doesn't do much. And I think that's both of us, I think we like a watch where you put it on and you can kind of move it in the light and see a few different...
and
it plays a bit, and your Formex is a really good example of that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of brings a bit of excitement sometimes.
Absolutely,
we just didn't quite get it with this one. But it's not to say it's a bad watch. It's a brilliant watch.
It's a very nice watch overall. And I think we're probably kind of discussing the colour of blue in so much detail because that's the only real kind of drawback of the watch. Other than that, it is a very, very nice watch.
Yeah. And I think for most people who aren't as picky as we are, you're going to be very happy with it. Yeah. But it's not for us.
No. So thank you for stopping by and watching our video. As always, please comment, subscribe, and continue to like our videos. We're seeing subscriber numbers go up very slowly. But we're aware we haven't been putting out videos as frequently as we have been previously.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's just because we're both very busy. But hopefully over the next few weeks we will have a few more videos for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for watching, guys.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye bye.